Okay, it's recording now. Yay! All right, so once again, it's the second fucking take of this fucking video. It's fine. Thank you, Luke, for joining me in this episode of mental health and depression and shit.
Yeah.
So once again, what do you struggle with in your mental health area?
OCD, depression, and anxiety are my three things.
And then you said previously, you experienced your very first kind of episode in fourth grade, right?
Yeah, that's the first that I really remember being like, oh, this is not normal. Which I mean, I'm sure I had others earlier in life, but I just didn't recognize them as not a normal thing to experience.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a little time to kind of I guess not really develop it, but develop it. You just never really notice. You think it's just a normal thing of life, and then it's just okay, this isn't normal.
Right? Yeah.
So how did you deal with everything that you had to deal with? I guess what are your coping mechanisms that you thought of?
Well, the biggest one is OCD, is how I cope with them. So the worse that they are, the worse my OCD gets. And the more manageable that they are, the more manageable my OCD is.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of hard too, because once I got into a relationship and you're living with someone, you're not in control of how clean your space is because you're someone. And so it was hard to push myself to oh, he left a plate on the counter, I'm gonna leave that plate there. And to not have it trigger depression and anxiety and all that other stuff. But yeah, so OCD is how I cope with it, and then also kind of going introvert and just having a long time.
Kind of recharging yourself.
Yeah, to life. I had a therapist say that life is like a sponge, and when water gets absorbed, you don't have any more room in your sponge to absorb the water, so you need time to wring out your sponge.
Yeah,
that's what my alone time is.
That works. I mean, yeah, that's kind of what I do as well. When I get kind of overwhelmed or overstimulated, I just kind of either go for a drive and listen to Lana Del Rey and and just chill out. I don't know, I usually go to the park and just kind of ground myself. I'll just listen to the wind and the trees and everything, and just relax. I don't know. That's a good way.
Sanctuary.
Exactly. Anywhere outside or where people was nice.
I would agree.
Okay, we'll get the next question. And then once again, do you think your mental health puts a strain on your relationship, or not really?
Not really anymore, but it did in the beginning. Just in terms of I wasn't used to not having my own space, so I didn't really think when I would go introvert and not talk or not want to be around somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And so he would be like, well, is he not into me? Is it me? Is he about to break up with me? But then we started communicating more, and now we can just say hey, I just need some introvert chill time. And the other person knows not me, nothing's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hang out and vibe and be in the silence. Silence is really important to me. So that is, introvert chilling means please be quiet.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I feel that. Sometimes you just need alone time.
It definitely affected all of my other previous relationships until Dylan.
That's good. I mean, not good, previously, but good now. So you can kind of deal with it and help you,
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, it can be a real bitch to deal with, even for us, having to deal with ourselves, and then having somebody else be in our lives, and it's fuck, it's just, it'll exhaust you. It just drains everything out of you.
Yeah. And then going back to kind of that sponge thing, it's like once your sponge gets full, you can't handle somebody else because they come
Mhm.
with their own emotions and their own baggage, and
Yeah.
just be like, okay, juices, can't deal with
Right.
you. Then you
People.
have to deal with yourself, so you can find somebody to deal
Yeah.
with.
And that's kind of what I've been like. I worked on my mental health for a while. Like, it probably hit its peak, 2011, and then like recently, what was it? Last year? I don't know what the fuck year this is. It's been chaotic. This is 2021. Okay. So I went to the hospital in January of 2020. I lost my shit. Like, I just fucking like snapped. Like, I had 12 margaritas and they were strong. I felt fine, like literally. Then I blacked out and I lost my shit. And I went to the hospital for 3 days because I just, I don't know, like there was so much happening in life too. Like, we're going through like financial issues, and I just got like out of a relationship kind of. Like, the person was just like, uh, they weren't ready, I guess. I mean, it was really early for like us to be talking, but like it was just kind of like they were scared of being hurt. Mainly, that was their reason. So I was like, you know what, whatever. So of course, me, I'm like, well, like, what did I do? I'm thinking like, what the fuck did I do? I didn't do shit. Like, I was like all about this person, and they left. So I was like, oh. So I had to deal with that, and I wasn't like happy at my job at that time. So I was like just trying to balance like all of that, and nope. So I was like, okay, yeah, I need to like calm down. So I stopped drinking for like good, I think it was like 7, 8 months. And I just realized like it's not really the drinking, it was just me like not learning to stop. So I was just like, because you're just kind of like wanting to cope and put a band-aid on the issues, And then I was just like, okay, like, so I started drinking again. Yeah, took it slow, and I'm actually able to handle it now. But it's just like when there's so much happening, you're just kind of looking for like a release of some sort. So you just kind of go the easiest thing, which is drinking. So yeah,
Yeah, I definitely get that. Mine was shopping. I would just fill it with things.
yeah, add to cart, add to cart, add to cart.
It made me feel good for that 10 seconds.
And then when you're fucking broke is when you're like, oh shit.
I'm by myself.
Right. So what were some resources that you discovered? Like, did you read some books? Like, did you watch some movies or videos?
I just went to my doctor first and I said, like, hey, I think I have anxiety. This happens before a test, and then it's like my anxiety would take over and I would get really depressed, and then I wouldn't get out of bed. So I would either miss the test, miss class, and then have anxiety because I missed class and I don't know the material or whatever. And so I went to get meds and that didn't work. And I went off it and tried to manage it for a while. And then when it got really, really bad, um, I actually reached out to my mom and told her, like, hey, this is what's going on. And she said, you have two options: either check yourself in somewhere or go to a therapist. And so that's when I went to a therapist and really got a hold on it,
Yeah,
how to like manage it and cope with it.
yeah. Like, do you know of anybody in your family that's had like any episodes like you or anything?
Um, Not that I know of. I know like anxiety is kind of something that a few family members struggle with, but I've never heard of anybody who's like been suicidal and
Hmm.
struggles with that.
Yeah. So I've always heard like sometimes it's like hereditary. I'm just like, I don't know. Science is weird too. Like, it could skip like a generation, or it could like not. Like, I don't know. It's so confusing.
And I know that I have a few family members who have it like mildly, like they take medication and it helps them, but for whatever reason, I'm just the oddball that has it to the max. I don't do anything half-assed, so
Right.
I took it to the max.
Shit happens. It's, I guess we just make the best of it. So, okay. Well, thank you again for joining me. This is awesome. You're technically the first episode I've had. I mean, done really. My best friend and I did one last night, but it was just like a test trial. Like, we are just like talking shit and, just all up. So, Thank you again for joining me. This is awesome. I'll have to get
Absolutely.
an invite to the wedding. So yeah,
Yes, you will. It won't be for a while.
that's fine.
I'm in my master's and he's in or in undergrad, so it'll be a minute.
Hey, that's fine. Just let me know and I'll be there.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Well, have a good night. And thank you again for joining.
Of course, you too.
Bye.